Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Tarot with Anne-Marie, and we are doing some more tarot twists tonight. So how are you all? Please do come and join us and say hi. Let me copy the link and pop that in there for you if you want to come on as a guest and talk about anything to do with tarot and any cards, any spreads, any decks that you've got, or a way that you read, or where you're getting stuck. If you want some help, it's the right place to be. So thank you very much for the thumbs up. Lovely. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And how have you all been this week? Yeah? Been good? It's very hot here where I am, and it's very tiring in the heat, but there you go. So, with no further ado, let's put the link on here and then we'll get started. Okay. Hello, hi Carla. Thanks for coming on and saying hello as always. Always good to have you along. Thank you very much for that. So we have been doing some more tarot pairs on these Tuesdays, and we've got 9 of Swords tonight. So I put on the screen for you the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune card of Jupiter and its opportunities if you work with that. Giving us the chance to be able to navigate our way, and the 9 of Swords blocking it a little bit. Why? Because of communication and stress from this card. So what's happening is any new opportunities, this pair, if it came up in a reading, let's say somebody's asking, okay, I want to know what's ahead for me in the next 3 to 6 months, and we get the Wheel of Fortune, and it's filled with opportunities galore. But the 9 of Swords shows the person is not in the right frame of mind to actually feel comfortable with those opportunities that are coming. You'd need to see more cards, of course, but that's the whole point. Can you see how, if you are able to fuse 2 cards together, how the meanings can actually change? Right, so opportunities here causing a stressful time for the current, i.e. the person that's having the reading. All right, so everybody on YouTube tonight, lovely, welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't think we've got anybody on Twitch as yet. Right, here's some keywords regarding the 9 of Swords. And for some reason, my 9 of Swords did not appear on the screen for you at that point. So, opportunities causing somebody to be very stressed and to worry about how they're going to perhaps have communication with that, how they're going to navigate that, causing them sleepless nights, worry, 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 and feeling as if it's the 11th hour. So anything good coming their way, they're probably not going to be in tip-top form through lack of sleep and overthinking. So that's what that one means. Okay, let's jump to this combination. Let's change the question, and let's say somebody is asking about somebody they've met, and they're saying, you know, well, can you tell me about this person? I've just met them, and yeah, let's say that this is just a new person in their life, not necessarily romance, but more to do with perhaps a friendship. I think that our person is feeling incredibly stressed about this new person in their life due to the fact that they are feeling enslaved to them. So they're asking about them, but they're feeling a bit controlled by the whole situation. You know, there's mind games maybe. that this person is feeling, they can't put their finger on it, but they just feel that in the communication that the other person is taking the control, taking the lead, and binding them to them in ways that make them feel very uncomfortable. So let's say they're saying, do you think it's going to get better? If you are happy to be in a place of mental bondage to someone else and somebody else being the puppet master, go ahead. But it doesn't look great, does it? Being in a position where you are not in control and someone else is all the time. That's what this pair actually means. Okay, let's bring this one on. Okay, the Emperor and the Nine of Swords. So, fusing the Nine of Swords into the card, the Emperor. Well, again, let's say that they are asking about someone else. I'm doing a little bit different for you tonight. And this person is asking, you know what? I've got a boss at work and I'm really not sure. I feel a bit intimidated. I feel a bit controlled. I feel a little bit ill at ease with the situation. And I'm stressing out. And while I'm stressing out, I'm really not at my best. Why? Sleepless nights. Sleepless nights is not going to make you very sharp. It's going to mean that you're exhausted. Mentally, you're not able to stand up for yourself. So they're asking about someone else. This is not coming up in their position. This is coming up in someone else. Okay? So it's about someone else making them feel, i.e. their boss, that they are really not comfortable. And they're feeling as if everything's making them nervous, they're stressing out about it, they're feeling controlled by this person, they're feeling that this person is logical, and they are not. Okay, so could make you feel a bit silly, can make you feel as if you are not as intelligent in the way that you would like to portray yourself via your thoughts and your communications, responding to this person. Okay, so let's do another one. Please say hello if you're watching. Nice to have you along, and ask anything that you want to. Okay, so we've got the Fool and the Nine of Swords. Again, let's say the question is somebody new that's come into my life, and let's do a romance this time for you. All right, and this person is new, and I don't know what to think. I'm not sure. What do you think? What do you see for me? And you get this and think, oh, crikey, I don't know what to say. Well, first of all, you've got confirmation from your querent, somebody new, the Fool. So you're looking in the right place, right? It is right at the beginning. So these two have not known each other before. They've never met before, and we can't call it a relationship because it's just getting started. The Fool's confirming what your querent is actually saying. Nine of Swords. All right, instead of being stressed out with this person, they are being stressed out by the fact that it's new, and maybe they're overthinking the situation. Sometimes we can be, there's a very fine line between being excited and feeling nervous. And this is probably a fusion of nerves, causing some sleepless nights. Wonder how it's going to go. Is it going to be all right? I wonder what that person's thinking of me. Gosh, I really, don't know what to think. Maybe they're actually going, it's so new that I don't know what to say, I don't know what I should think about this person. We cannot tell if there's an attraction based on these two cards. All right, we would need to know a lot more. And we're not going to do that because we are studying the Nine of Swords and how it can change, A, with our question, and B, with the position. And, obviously we're changing the Major Arcana card, of course. So let's just bring, I'm looking for this one. Okay. Again, let's say somebody's asking about somebody else. And in this case, we'll say that they are looking to see if this new or friend or potential romance or partnership or special person, how is it going to be? It looks strong, it looks healthy, but you've got some worries and anxieties. Now, they seem unfounded with such a positive Major Arcana card. It shows that there's nothing really to stress out about, because the Strength card there is showing a working relationship between two parties, albeit one's a human and one is the lion. But it's showing, that our person is trying to be brave. It's showing that a person wants to be courageous and to give this a go. Also, don't forget the Strength card links to Leo, and the astrological sign of Leo is fire, so the dynamics of this is action. So our other card is, of course, the communication or our thought process. So they're overthinking, sleepless nights, perhaps because they want to be happy with this person, or they want to find happiness, and they want to find somebody who is willing to play. Why do I say play? Well, because Leo, of course, relates to our inner child, and our inner child wants to do hobbies, play, have fun, all those kind of wonderful things. And there is a sense in this card that they are going to be protected, and for that to remain in a healthy and strong position. If the Nine of Swords starts to settle down into something else, you would need to look at different positions. You would also need to pull other cards, and you would also need to look at your surrounding cards. Any questions, anybody? Does anybody want anything to do with a particular sort of Major Arcana card to demonstrate, or would you like to ask a question that you often find difficult to answer? Feel free. All right. A reminder, everybody, that on my YouTube channel, I've got a whole playlist called podcasts. Okay, so I'll just show you that. So you can watch all of our previous podcasts, and this is what you're looking for. Yeah, there's all the cards. You can see I've started there from Ace of Swords right down, going down, and then along it goes through all the Major Arcana cards. This is screenshotted when I was still working on it. It's all in order right now. All right, so you'll find that on my YouTube channel. There you go. All right, so I must have a drink. Sorry, everybody. So hot and dry. So what have we got? I've done the devil card for you, so I want to bring in this one. Okay, so we talked about somebody new coming in. Let's completely change it tonight and say somebody asks you for a reading, and you say, okay, what would you like me to look at? And they say, somebody from my past is on my mind, and I saw them the other day. What do you think might happen? Well, based on the Hermit, that is someone from the past, unlike the Fool, who's somebody brand new. So that's how you know the difference. If somebody's saying, can you look at this person? It's like, right, okay, you've got to know, how long have you known them? Have you just met them? Or did you know them in the past? Or are they somebody that you have known, every day through the course of your life? And in which case, again, the Hermit, because there's history here. So this is a card of history, all right? It's also a card of work. So we'll talk about that one in a minute. So let's say they're saying, I just bumped into them. I'm really not sure why or what's going on. And so you'd look at this and you'd say, right, this has been causing you a bit of concern. You seem to have some anxiety about it. And they're probably going to say, yes, And it's like, okay, you know, you are feeling that you don't know what they want from you. And they will say, absolutely. So, you know, this is a card of, well, a pair, should I say, of that person needs some impartial advice to be able to say that they need to gather a sense of maturity about the situation, and that if they are not comfortable with the situation, i.e., they don't want to actually rekindle things from the past, then, you know, to walk away. But it's probably not that. It's probably much more to do with, I'm all stressed out, my ex is back and they're not telling you that, and I'm worried that, you know, we split up before. What's going to happen next time? How's it going to be? You know, if I start this up, I really want to, but I'm scared that I'm going to be back on my own. On my own, a hermit. So our person, there's an awful lot going on with this pair. As you can see, we're referring to someone from the past coming back. Our person is stressed out because they want the past back, and they're frightened that the past may repeat itself in the way that they don't want, i.e. that person probably walked away for their own reasons and that's why they've walked back in. Are they going to come in and are they going to go again? And we wouldn't know from this. All we can see is that there's a lot of anxiety and that they are worried, probably excited, but frightened to actually enjoy that excitement due to the fact that they need the courage to be able to accept circumstances, that it didn't work last time. What's the chances of it working this time? On this pair, we wouldn't know, and that's why I always urge you to keep putting pairs out. And if you go onto the courses that I teach on my website, you'll only find them there. You can look at the mini courses, in particular. The intermediate talks about this, then the advanced, which is part 2 of my signature course, where you're able to actually learn how to use the spread to be able to determine who, what, where, when, why, and how. And that's the kind of spread we all want, isn't it? Because that's what your client wants. And that's where you're saying, gosh, learning the method of this card means the hermit, you're on your own. How am I going to say that in a reading to somebody? They're going to go, sorry? I hope you're not saying I'm going to stay like that. And of course, very hard for people to unhear what we say. So, you know, there are a lot of people that really want to do tarot, really know this stuff, but they are not sure how to bring everything together. They know their cards, or they know some of them, or they want to grow. But the biggest problem that I hear time and time again, where people are actually nervous about setting out and going through a career, is they don't think it's sustainable, simply because if somebody asks them a question, what on earth are you going to say? Even though you know your cards, you can't possibly answer with that. I know my card, I know it means that, but how do I actually weave it together as a reading? Yes, you might know your card, but the art of actually reading tarot is being able to bring all the pieces and the components together. You just need somebody to say to you, use one spread, go through it, it'll answer everything, and then you'll get confident with what you're doing. The more you practice, the more you'll be able to do it. All right. Now, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about this card regarding work. Okay. The reason being, let's say, using this pair, that we ask the question, I want to know how work's going for me. And in order to be able to answer a work question, you would be looking for things like the hermit, or the position of work in your spread. Or maybe if they're asking about someone in particular, then you've got to either know their star sign, or you've got to know where to look in your spread. And again, it's something I teach you on the courses. So the hermit is associated with Virgo. Virgo is the 6th house astrologically. Therefore, the 6th house is where we get work and daily routine. So that's where you'd look on a work question. Always be looking for the 6th house, which is either in the spread, or the 6th house, which is astrologically, it's the card that relates to Virgo, and there's quite a few in the tarot. Tonight we're just talking about this particular one because we've got the 9 of Swords. So we're looking at this and we're saying, right, what's going on here? I want to know about work. How are things for me when it comes to work matters? And work matters are stressing you right out. And you might say, well, look, there seems to be some anxiety around your workplace, and I feel that you're losing sleep over this matter. And they probably say to you, yes, can you see what's about to happen? Well, you wouldn't be able to see anything based on these 2 cards. All right, you just wouldn't. That's why you need to pull more out. And, you know, tarot is like, you've got to also pay attention to your suits, because getting swords is only telling you about communication. And getting swords is only telling you what that person is thinking based on their own thoughts, or how they have been influenced by other people that actually start to affect their thoughts. I know that's quite a lot to take in, but I hope that makes sense, because that's the real biggie. And so we don't know what's going to happen when we get swords. And I think it was last week that I mentioned, we also don't know from timing, which again I teach on the courses. You can look on my website, go on there. You're not going to know any timing when you get the suit of swords. It is open. I know that there's loads of different schools of thought, but this is the other thing. If you're in a position of wanting to learn something, once you actually find something, it's probably better for you to follow that one particular system as a rule, as a general rule for what it's all about. What I mean by that is, you know, I remember going back when I was learning, I was developing in tarot school. I was doing various different sort of ways. One of them was Liz Green, another one was Russell Grant, and totally different. I can't think of the others that were there. There were so many, and it was just, it's good to look, but you will get yourself all confused. And somebody asked me the other day in my, they wrote to me, obviously went to the YouTube channel, my website, and found how to contact me via email, and asked the questions about, you know, how am I going to learn all of this? Am I going to learn it as in this particular way? And the answer is yes, you will. But only if you do the work. You know, it's as simple as that. I provide all the key points there, and you've got to do the work. But there was also a question relating to, if I got this in the Celtic cross in position 2, what does it mean? Hi, hello. Say hi to you. Hi. What does it mean if it comes up in position 2? Well, you're not telling me what spread you're using, and you're only using one card, and you've not told me what the question is. And so I gave a very detailed answer saying exactly that. Unless I know what your question is, unless I know that you're actually using what system, what does your position 2 mean? You know, are you talking about my system? And she wasn't, because she'd not done my course, and I know who's on my courses. Simply because it comes straight through to my website. You know, I don't, once you've got it, it's all video based. You know, you don't get me, you get me here, and that's where you get it. But can you see what I'm saying? And the biggest mistake that I feel that people make when they are trying to read for someone else and doing yourself, the biggest disservice is to say, or let someone say to you, just throw out the cards. I haven't got a question. Just give me a general. Of course you can do that. But really, they are there because they want to know something. And the way in which they phrase that question, I can tell you how important it is for that person to ask in a certain way. And people say, oh, well, that's cheating. Sorry? What are you talking about? I'm not a mind reader. Yeah? I've heard that said to my readers when I ran a platform a couple of years ago, I don't know why I said that. I ran that platform from 2008 until up to 2.5-3 years ago. And then I wanted to do more teaching rather than just be the fairy godmother, if you like, to the other readers and to the clients that wanted readings. And it was just so busy. I had no life whatsoever. It was reading, morning, noon and night. Never, ever could I get to the end of the queue because there was always someone else popping up, just saying, oh, just one more. So, yeah, that's why I went in a different direction. And people had asked me for the courses and I needed the time to actually make them. And yeah, I've done them for years, but must have known that COVID was coming because on it went to videos on my website instead of in person. We used to do conference calls, so we used to do it I've done it via Zoom, I've done it via telephone. But then, of course, somebody's missing or they can't make it. Life gets in the way, of course, understandably. Somebody can't make a certain time. Somebody is prevented from, wherever their location is by the world clock being silly o'clock where they live or silly o'clock for me. And so this is the way round it. All right. This is tuition, my darling. I'm sorry I'm not reading cards. I'm giving examples of what these cards mean to other people who want to read tarot. So if you're wanting to learn tarot, we're just using examples of what the cards mean. Sorry about that. So, no, I don't do readings, that's in, on this platform, only on my website, and they are, of course, paid readings. Sorry about that. So, yeah, it's really, really important that a person who is giving the reading, i.e. you, the tarot reader, is in control of what you are comfortable with. I'm not saying, no, I'm not doing that, I'm not allowing that. I don't mean that. But just to say, you're asking half a dozen questions, and that's fine. But you're asking about 3 or 4 things at work. I'll need to know their star signs, I'll need to know how long you've known them or something like that for me to be able to dig deep in the reading to find out. So, let's use the example that somebody says, oh, there's a newcomer coming in. Yeah? So the Hermit and the 9 of Swords isn't going to give you an answer about a newcomer. It will only give you an answer about work per se. Yeah? So, yeah, it's a thread. But this would be more about the people that you've worked with for a long period of time. As I said, something new, the Fool. Do you see? All right, so, and of course your position. Let's go and do this one. Let's say that we get the Power of the Magician and the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is a card of sleepless nights, being worried, the 11th hour, being very stressed, not quite sure, how you feel about things, allowing things to get on top of you, all to do with communication. And the Magician, of course, is saying, what are you worried about? Magician is also connected with the planet Mercury, so therefore this is all about communication. And that Magician has got 4 elements on the table. So we've got the sword, we've got the cup, we've got the wand, and we've got the pentacle. And so we've got the infinity sign, which means they're protected. And we've got the crystal wand in his, I think that's his right hand as we look at it. Let me say that again. As we look at the card, it's on the left, but I think it's the magician's right hand. It is, okay? And he's pointing the other hand with a finger down to the floor. Okay, as above, so below. But the point is, with all those 4 tools on the table, our magician is quite capable of everything, because the sword represents communication, the cup represents emotions, the wand represents action, and the pentacle is the material, earthy things that are tangible. Therefore, this person knows what they're doing. So why is our person stressing out? Yeah, they're worried that perhaps might be nerves. We can all have nerves, can't we, where we actually worry and think, oh my goodness, am I actually going to get this right? Is everything, I really want it to go well, and I want to be able to deliver that. I want to make sure that I don't flop it, you've got all the tools on the table. Doesn't mean that it's going to come out that way. You know how we go, I really want to make sure I cover it all. Bit like, am I going to pass that exam? The minor card's not telling us. The minor card's telling us that you are stressed. The magician's saying you have the capability of doing it. Be careful. 9 of Swords is sleepless nights. You may not be at your best with no sleep. I suggest you try and rest. Some people worry too much about how much sleep. It's important to remember that even if you don't sleep, as long as you rest. So sometimes we can go to bed and worry about not getting sleep. Sometimes it's more important to actually just say, you know what, I'm resting my body, I'm resting my mind, I may be restless, but I am not doing too many things. And sometimes we can over-worry about a lack of sleep. Okay, so just bear that in mind. It's always a nice thing to remember for ourselves and to give that impartial advice from the cards to other people. Okay, right. Bear with me. Let's go on to the next one. All right, I'm going to choose this one. Okay. Somebody's saying, can you have a look at my cards for me? And they're doing that awful thing where I've told you, you can control as the reader if you want, and they've said, can you give me a general? Just a general? No, I haven't got any questions. And that's what they do. And you're within your rights to actually go, it's not going to work for me. It's really not going to work for me. So I suggest you ask a question. Or, you know what, I just think maybe I'm not the reader for you. Be confident about saying that. Yes, you might lose them, but you will feel a lot better for having your boundary if you are not comfortable with that. Or you could say, all right, I could do a general, but I just feel more comfortable if I could ask you what's on your mind today, what brings you for this reading. And sometimes they will say, well, you're the psychic. And then you'll think, oh my goodness me, imposter syndrome. Am I really psychic? I like to actually work my cards, but would I consider myself psychic? We can start really putting far too much pressure upon ourselves. Let me say that everybody has the capacity to be psychic, whether they actually develop that muscle by using divination tools such as tarot, oracle cards. I used to work alongside someone that interviewed with me and my husband and my team, and he read dominoes. People read tea leaves, they read coffee cups, they read palms, writing, I think it was a graphologist, but in case I got that wrong, I'll just say people that analyse writing. And it was very hard to do because on a phone call, you haven't got that. And same with palms. Zoom calls, of course, perhaps you can do that a lot easier. So as long, and some people go, oh, I don't use any tools, some people are mediums. As long as you can answer the questions and you're using your integrity, some people just don't want tarot or anything. They want to actually work freehand. And I can understand that, but they always ended up being chit-chatty, shall we say, within about 10 minutes of delivering a reading. And, really and truly, if somebody's paying you for 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, and that's how it's working on platforms, or what other people do is they go, oh, I charge this for this many cards. It's a way round it, but you know what? You can't charge £100, can you, for 2 cards or 5 cards? Really, and if you are going to have to deliver the actual financial sort of substance that's relating to that. You can try it, some people do, but that's probably because they are quite capable of holding that and filling that time slot. So it's it's absolute value. But what I'm saying is, it's not. It's usually very experienced readers. I've had experienced readers where they use nothing, or they use 5 cards, or Belinda, she'd go, oh, God, I talk for hours for one card, because, she'd always say, I'm clairvoyant, fine, But for those that are not, and there was a lot more that were not, and having done that for a very long time, I haven't counted the years, but well over a decade, 13, 14 years running a platform, 30 years teaching this, and 30 years giving readings, then I've come across people where, they don't know what the problem is and why that they are backing off from being a reader. It's usually because they feel out of their depth for a million reasons. They're going to get stuck, and they're going to hate it, and they're going to feel accountable for giving somebody, oh, I can't read for you. If you say, I can't read for you, what you're really, let me put it another way, what your client is hearing is, you've seen something so awful, you don't want to read for them. And no matter what you say to them, that's what they think. I can tell you, time after time after time. My God, what did they see? Can you read for me? Oh, but this reader said this, and it's like, I can tell you that reader is probably just feeling it was an off day. And tarot readers would say to me, I get card blindness. And what they describe card blindness as they stare at the cards, I know them, and nothing comes out. It all looks like some sort of foreign language, and they are not able. And that can be that they are, just like the Nine of Swords, nervous. It's affecting their confidence, which is just like this pair. And the Sun card and the Nine of Swords is saying the Sun is about our energy. It's what drives us. It's our vitality. Nine of Swords is draining that vitality mentally. That is what's going on. Lack of confidence. Not feeling transparent enough. The Sun card is about transparency. So there's my point. Let's say somebody comes and says, I really want to actually be a reader, but you know what? I dread getting card blindness. I feel like a fraud when I do it. I don't feel good enough. We're usually comparing ourselves to an experience of maybe a reading that we've had with someone, or our, shall we say, our experience of what we expect a reading to be like. And honestly, everybody's different, and we don't want some version of what you think it should be, because that's why Nine of Swords is affecting you. How can you possibly be like someone else? Impossible. And, you know, I can imagine that we feel, oh my goodness, I've got to live up to that. I've got to do what that person wants. You know, I've got to be as good as that. Remember what I said to you. We had so many different talented people on the platform that 24/7 giving tarot readings by phone, by message, by email. It went on to video. It was coming together just as I kind of left the company. And the whole point of what is right for you, what kind of reader do you want to be? The main thing is you cannot measure up to someone other than who you are. And so what we don't want is somebody that's a mini you or a mini, you know, Vera or whoever it was that you went to see that read your cards. We just want the authentic you. Then the Sun card will come into play with your confidence, with your transparency, and with your purity. And never be afraid to say to somebody, I'm really sorry, based on how you're asking the question, I can't really answer it that way. I work best with the question. So if you want to choose somebody else to read for you, quite happy to leave it today. And it's not because, you know, I don't want to read for you. It's just that I just don't feel I get the best out of readings when somebody asks me for a general. Why shouldn't you say that? You know? It's a bit like walking into a shop and expecting them to sell absolutely everything. And somebody says, well, why haven't you got these? It's like, because we haven't. We don't. You know? Don't feel bad. Don't feel that we all need somebody that we want to actually aspire to, but it's really important that you're in a position to feel that you've got something to follow, you know, and the trouble is sometimes you can overwhelm yourself with too many different methods, like I mentioned. So, you know, at one point I was trying to do Russell Grant's Liz Screams, and, you know, and then I was looking at, I think it was Colette Baron Reid, and all of these things were actually coming out, and it's like, that's the one that made me the most comfortable was Russell Grant. But my astrology was not strong enough, and yet when I actually looked at his method, it was a little bit, I'm going to say in the kindest way I mean possible, it was a great system, but he was bringing in Chinese astrology as well, and it was very light-hearted, too light-hearted for me, and only a couple of lines in each position. And yeah, I needed a little bit more to dig with, but I really liked his method very much, and I'm not sure if that's still available. I don't think you can actually buy the book these days. I still have the book. It's in tatters, but that's for years and years. Right, okay. Any questions, anybody? No? You're always quiet. All right then. So, don't forget that we have the podcast available for the Tuesday lessons that I do here on YouTube, where we do learn tarot and we study that one card, and we kind of go 20 minutes up to an hour on just one card and its meaning, and I give you the background of everything that I have collated, that I feel it, you know, to pass on to you to do what you want with it, all right? But at least you know it. I'm sorry. They fall out. And I've got the smallest, tiniest sort of, what do you call it, earpiece attached to my AirPods, but they do fall out. So I want to say to you that the Thursday podcast is also out, and so you're looking for this Thursday podcast, Learn Tarot, and of course they're all recorded, and there's the listings, all the lessons. So it's not a tarot course, but this is kind of where you can come and ask the community, ask me, anything about one card when we are doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays is always the chance to be able to see the card that we've studied and how you can actually use other cards and start putting pairs together and getting used to doing that. Because one card on its own, there's a lot that I teach you on the Thursdays, but it can be that you think, how can I absolutely answer somebody based on this? And out of all of those things that I've learned, which one is the actual meaning that applies? Once you actually, again, as I say to you, it's really based on asking the right question. Ask your person to say, really, you can ask me to do a general. I'd really prefer that you ask a question. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to be able to read for you. I work better with questions. I have to have a question, I'm sorry. If that's what you want to say. If you're happy with the general, that's fine. What they really mean is I want you to find out what I'm thinking. That's what they really mean. More likely than not, they're also very nervous, and they're also thinking, I want to ask you a ton of things, and I can't remember now that I'm here, and if I say that, you might not answer this. So I'm just being honest with you, when you go and you think yourself for a reading, but I want to know about love and romance, I want to know about finance, I want to know about career, I want to know about my family, I want to know about my folks, I want to know, are we moving, I want to know if I'm doing the right thing. That's what they mean. But there are some that can make you, and what I would say is, if they really go, oh, please give me a general, there's just so much I'd love to know, and say, well, that's fine, shall we focus on the big three, love, money, career, yeah. Oh, I want to know if I'm moving. Yeah, we'll cover that as well. There you go. Hope that helped you all. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, doesn't feel like it. We'll be back on Thursday with another card coming to the end of the Sword family and the communication. It'll be quite an interesting one, and I hope that you don't miss it. Don't forget, do subscribe to the channel. We're here to actually help you with your tarot journey. Make use of the fact that you can ask me or ask the community or the viewers anything, or share with us something that you think is really helpful when reading tarot. Till next time, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.